is Therese and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about books you'll probably enjoy if you enjoyed the vibe of The Rise and Fall of the Midwestern Princess by Chappell Roan. Got not a lot of books. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books to talk about. Stop chewing on that. So let's just get in the video. But if you like this kind of videos or want me to do more simple videos or more videos like this where I talk about like books you might enjoy if you vibe out to X album or X artist or whatever, let me know in the comments down below. And then don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and then comment your thoughts just so I know that this is like vibing with everyone. Let's get into it. So this video is going to be a little different than like if you like this song from The Rise and Fall of the Midwestern Princess, you're going to like this book. There's 14 songs. I don't think I know 14 books that'll fit the vibe of every song because they're all such niche experiences. I did some research and read some reviews of what people thought of The Rise and Fall of the Midwestern Princess by Chappell Roan, and a lot of it was just kind of like, this is just about like someone from a small town, specifically a young queer person from a small town in America who moves to a larger town and starts experiencing things outside of what their current lived experiences are, you know, which makes sense. So I kind of found some books that kind of fit that vibe, and I think most of them are like pretty much like contemporary romances. I have one fantasy in here and like one mystery thriller, and I kind of try to fit with that vibe of like very niche experiences, very much like the pining, the romance, the lustful things, the getting to really enjoy who you are and come into yourself kind of moments in books. A good chunk of these books are also on adult novels. I try to aim for more adult works just because the album is a little bit more like adult in its content, is what I'm looking for, but there are a couple of YA books in here that I think fit the vibe. That first book is The Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This is This is a historical fiction novel set in 1950s Chinatown during the Red Scare and the paranoia that comes with it. Lily Chen is 17 years old and is just trying to like kind of get through it. It's again during the middle of the Red Scare in America, so things are not great. People are thinking they're communists. Queer people are not necessarily the most accepted thing by the 1950s. That until she meets Kathleen Miller, who is this other lovely human in this thing here, and they start to kind of like have, I guess, like a relationship, a friendship, just a flirtation. They end up going to this place called the Telegraph Club every night where queer people are in fact more accepted and more welcome, and it just feels a little safer to be them. This book, it's not exactly like the lightness of Pink Pony Club, but I do think it has kind of like some similarities in the sense that I think when I listen to Pink Pony Club, and I've had this album on repeat for a bit now, that it's just like, you know, coming into yourself and like doing the things you want to do and like just feeling yourself and feeling more comfortable in your own skin. So I think this vibe kind of fits that, because it's Lily trying to like learn more about herself and figuring out, oh yeah, she likes girls, and this club that she's in really accepts her for who she is, and she can just be herself and feel more comfortable in her skin. Whereas when she walks out during the daytime, she's kind of uncomfortable, she's on edge, she doesn't know what is up and what is down, and feels like she has to be just very careful with her movements. And here she can just be a little more freely like herself, and I kind of like that juxtaposition, I guess is the word I'm looking for. One of the two. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't remember if I have a review up on this book, but I think I have one on Goodreads. I could be wrong though. So if I have one, I'll leave that link down below. But all the books I have mentioned will be linked down below for all of you guys, and all the reviews for Pink Pony Club, for Rise and Fall of Midwestern Princess that I read that kind of helped me figure out the vibes of the album will also be linked down below for everyone's perusing reasons. Or perusing enjoyment. Alright, the next book specifically gives me very much Red Wine Supernova vibes. Red Wine Supernova vibes is like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just very like cheeky. It's very much like, I don't know if this is gonna go anywhere, but we're gonna have a fun night with it, and we're just gonna ride along with it. And like I said, this isn't like a direct, like if you like this song, you like this book, because there's a lot of books in there. But this one, the vibes that give me is very much similar to The Fiancé Force by Alexandra Bellefleur. This was one of my favorites of 2023. I still think about this book very often. And the reason why I brought this up with the similar vibes is because this is a contemporary romance novel following Tansy, who is a bookseller, and all she wants to do is just sell books in her family store and just be a little happy pappy. But her family is always constantly asking her, like, when are you gonna start dating again, blah 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 blah, do you have someone? So to keep them all zipped up and quiet, she ends up lying and saying that she's currently dating Gemma West, who is a well-known like romance novel cover model, and that kind of keeps them silent. Well, she doesn't say that she ends up lying and saying that she's dating this girl named Gemma West, who is, let me see here. Yeah, Gemma, who's a fake girlfriend inspired by the stunning cover model on a best-selling book. So she's like, it's fine, you know, I'll just lie about it, and then when things, you know, when I start developing feelings or when I decide to actually want to date, I'll say we broke up and then just go from there. That is until Gemma is actually a real person, and they end up running into her during her cousin's step-sibling's wedding. There we go. Gemma ends up rolling into her step-sibling's wedding, or Gemma ends up arriving at Tansy's step-sibling's wedding because Gemma's brother is marrying cousin brother, one of the two ends up marrying Tansy's sibling. So instead of step-sibling, so instead of like outing her to the world and being like, no, we never dated, Gemma ends up being like, well, why don't we just lean into it? And because Gemma has to prove to someone that she can fall in love and get married to someone in order to inherit her like family's publishing house after the death of her grandfather, because there was a stipulation she has to be like married or in love in like 30 days or something. And the two of them begin on their fake engagement dating journey. I think this fits the vibes of Red Wine Supernova, mainly because the things that Gemma tells Tansy have got me blushing and giggling. And I feel like, considering the entire vibe of this song is just like, I just met you, it's new, it's nothing serious, but let's like sleep together, and the inevitable like cheeky flirting that comes with it really just fits that vibe, because they don't know each other. They don't know if they'll even love each other or if this will stick together and they'll end up actually getting married. But it's fun to do it, and they're just having a blast just flirting with each other, and the way that Gemma flirts with Tansy is just, and be spicy. But yeah, highly recommend it. It's a 5 out of 5 for me, and I'm excited to see what other books Alexandria Bellefleur has come out with. This is another, I think this is a very niche thing. The next book is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is a adult cozy fantasy following Viv, who is an orc. Viv has been adventuring for how long, and she's just done. She wants to relax, so at the last of her adventure, she takes her gold and then decides to set up shop in a small town to sell coffee and baked goods in a town that has never heard of coffee before. There she meets, what's her name? Tandry. Her name is Tandry, and a bunch of other cast of characters. Now this is definitely a little bit on the calmer side, and I'm not saying coffee because there's a literal song in the album called Coffee, but it's just one of those niche experiences where I think that like you've done all you wanted to, and this is the one thing you want to do, and you're going to just follow the dream out as far as you can go until it goes away, or until you can't anymore. And on this journey trying to follow your dreams, you meet wonderful people, and again, you find your people and you come into yourself and you feel more comfortable in yourself as a person and the people that you're kind of like getting to be with and enjoy, which I think is kind of like Chappell's own journey a little bit, where she like went to California to dream and to become big, and it didn't work out, and she followed that dream and she went back home, and then one year she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it again, give myself a year and see what happens, and it just happened to be the best decision she ever made. Again, it's a very niche thing, but I think the album is just a very niche experience of like finding yourself and all the weird intermediary experiences that happen in your life during this journey of figuring who you are and following your dreams. And I think it just suits the vibe, and it's just a cozy little fantasy, and I think it's cute and fun, and I had fun with it. So I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. It's one of my favorites of last year as well. The next book is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This is an adult contemporary, I guess like almost romance, following Grace Porter, who just graduated with her PhD. For the celebration with her PhD, she goes on a girls trip to Vegas and winds up married. Now, unsure exactly where her life is going because she's fought for this PhD for so long, and now she's like, well, what do I do with it? I kind of don't want to do it anymore, but I have to, you know, like, commit to it. She ends up running away to New York to visit her wife and get to know her wife and just try to figure things out along the way. This book covers a lot about like burnout and just like figuring things out and just being confused and all the things. And again, I think it just follows the journey that is the album, which is figuring yourself out, the burnout that comes with it, the pushback that comes with it. I think one of the songs in Pink Pony Club is like, oh, what have you done, my pink pony girl and the Pink Pony Club. And there's another one I want to say of like the small town of like, I'll miss my small town of Tennessee, the dying town of Missouri or whatever. And I think it just suits because it is just, again, those things that just feel like you're slowly outgrowing the things you love and you treasure, but you need to outgrow them to become who you are, and that process is painful and you burn out and all the things. And I think it just works out really well and I really enjoyed it. And I think the vibes are there in the sense of like losing yourself and finding yourself and experimenting and figuring out what all this means in between. This book that has confused me is If We Were Villains by Emma Rio. This is an adult contemporary like mystery novel following Oliver, who has just gotten out of jail. He has served 10 years in prison, and the reason for that is because 10 years ago he and his college buddies were in the midst of a murder, and they don't really know what happened. They're confused, they're concerned, but no one really wants to admit to what exactly happened, so Oliver takes the fall. What does this have to do with this super poppy and super like figuring yourself out kind of thing? This, I think, has the same vibes that I get from Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope is one of the ballads of the album, and definitely is just like, I want to say like pining, you've lost someone and you're just trying to like figure out exactly what is going on. You're stuck in this like what a kaleidoscope is. It's confusing, the colors are ever changing, the angles are shifting, and you're just lost in this mess of feelings while trying to mourn someone. There is a queer aspect of this novel. I won't spoil it, not because the queer part is spoilery, but it spoils what happens at the end of the book, or the reveal at the end of the book. But yeah, I think it just fits that because it feels like you're stuck in, like, quite literally, like you're stuck in this very confusing environment, and you just like, all you want to do is just be sad and like try to remember this person, but you can't because everything's changing, the colors are shifting, you don't know what's left and what's right and what's up and it's down. And I think it just kind of gives the vibes, even though the vibes are completely different, but I think it gives that kind of like feeling. This one for sure has a similar song that fits with it, and that is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki and Rosemary Valero O'Connell. This is a graphic novel, a YA contemporary graphic novel following Freddie Riley, who is in love with Laura Dean. She and Laura Dean have been on and off dating. It's just a mess, and it's a lot of like back and forth of will they or won't they in the worst way possible. And it's just Freddie trying to figure out if she wants to be with Laura Dean, why does she keep going back to Laura Dean. And the vibes of this book, like when I listened to Casual playing for this video, my first immediate thought was Laura Dean keeps breaking up with me. It's very much the vibes of Casual. Casual is very much that unhealthy situationship where you're like, yeah, I'm still here 6 months later, I don't know why. They keep making fun of me to their friends. I keep going to their place for dinner, but then the day after they're like, yeah, no, we're just there. There's nothing serious or committed about this relationship at all. It's very much Laura Dean keeps breaking up with me because there are moments where Freddie's trying to move on, and then Laura will see her and Laura will be like, well, why did you do that? That's just not cool. And Freddie's like, well, why did I do that? And then 5 minutes later, she sees Laura making out with a girl being like, yeah, so I think we should break up. And then 5 minutes later, Laura's like, I kind of miss you. I don't know. The vibes are similar. I think it fits. And the last two books on this list are actually like spin-offs of each other. Which one? Okay. Spin-offs of each other. There's a fourth one coming out now, but I think it fits the concept of like of a girl in a small town trying to grow out of it and trying to grow out of parental expectations, trying to grow out of their own expectations, and that is Delilah Green Doesn't Care and Ashford Parker Doesn't Fall by Ashley Herring Blake. These are two, I love Ashley Herring Blake's writing. Loved her since I read Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World, one of her middle grade novels. These two books are very much like Delilah goes from her small town in Bright Falls to Oregon or New York or something and becomes so much bigger than herself. She finds, again, like a tribe of people she loves. She ends up, you know, making a name for herself and really just like being her true self. And Ashford Parker is all about Ashford learning to overcome the expectations that her mother has placed on her and become the actual person she's meant to be, and all the things in between. And I think it just fits because I think there's a line in one of the songs. And then I also think Jordan, the love interest and the other main character of this book, also fits the song of Casual. If you read the novel, you'll understand, and it just works, and I like it, and I think it suits it. But that is it for my video. Like I said, if you like this kind of content and you liked this, let me know. If you have read any of these books and you agree or disagree with my thoughts, let me know in the comments and we can have a nice little discussion about it. But until next time, hit like and subscribe and comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, stay safe. Bye.